Hi, friends. Doc South here. Today, actually, let's see, this is March 5th, 2019. This marks the day, Sandy and I got married 24 years ago, back in 1995. I said 1995, yes. Yeah, no, long time ago. And I'm no spring chicken. I wasn't then. But well, for some reason, I was fortunate enough to have Sandy say she'd enjoy being my bride. I think words were it'll be a laugh. Yeah, the we actually I don't know. It seems like we've hit it off okay. 24 years for crying out loud, and all in all, a pretty good wife. I was just thinking how it took. God, how I met her. I actually had seen Sandy around town, when I was younger, much younger. And of course, Sandy's quite a bit younger than I am, but I remember I. She says no, but I think when my first wife and I had an antique shop known as Splinter Shop in Chester, I think Sandy used to come in with the kids. She made well, it's hard to know, but I think she used to come in with the kids that went out into the woods and found those cannonballs and old bottles, and they bring them in to sell to my first wife and I. And Sandy says no, but I think not. I think she was there on occasion. It was there was like a band of kids that roamed the town, pillaging. Marauding through the streets of town on their bikes and such. I believe I remember after I was divorced from my first wife Molly and was kind of between occupations, I guess, in Chester, New Jersey. I seem to remember seeing a very beautiful young lady used to ride her bike everywhere you looked. Yeah, and I said, "Boy, ain't she pretty? Look at her, my mamma mia!" And that was Sandy. Yeah, that I know. And I ran into her on occasion at parties. She'd be at one party or another, usually, with someone else, which was fine. I was there maybe with a date. And on occasion we'd talk, pass the potato chips or something. Funny, even nowadays I ask her, "Hey, Sandy, pass me the potato chips." Yeah. Only back then I didn't know her name. In fact, now that I think about it, right after the divorce, I lived in Chester, and then I moved down to the Carolinas. And I remember my brother got married to his wife Helen. They've been married forever now, and which is good. Nice marriage, good kids, all that, nice family. And they at Eddie's wedding, Sandy was invited, and I remember we got to talking, and I wrote a doggone letter to her when I got back down to the Carolinas, and no one knew her address. So I just kind of sealed the letter, wrote Sandy on it, and threw it in with my stuff. Years later, after Sandy and I were at least dating a little bit, we I remember getting out that letter and giving it to her, yeah, for her to read. It was just a dumb letter. I think I was trying to at least start up a writing relationship with her, and but again could never figure out her address. The When I got back to North Jersey, all in due time, I wound up with another antique shop in actually in the old spot where my first wife and I had a shop. Yeah, rent considerably raised, but still I had a shop. And yeah, as usual, basically I was alone. I had broken up with someone who was very nice, and we, I just basically was alone and not too happy about it, not too proud of myself, just kind of, yeah. And and very lonely. And I remember there was a girl who used to come into the shop. I believe her name was, well, I know her name was Beth. And she says, "Hey, do you sell gift certificates for your store?" I said, "Well, yeah, Beth, sure. You want a gift certificate?" She says, "Yeah." In fact, I said, oddly enough, I just thought of getting gift certificates put into the store. And I don't know. I haven't got. She said, "Have you sold any yet?" I said, "No, not one." She says, "Well, I'll be the first." By the way, she was the first and only. We just, I guess it was a bad idea. It cost me quite a bit to get those darn things printed. Well, anyway, Beth takes one. She says, "Yeah, make one out for $20." I said, "Okay, cool. Here you go." She says, and I wrote it out, bearer on demand. I said, "Any particular name?" She says, "No, I'll fill it in." And she leaves. And it was right near Christmas time. Well, okay, Christmas came and went. Basically, spent a pretty lonely Christmas. Not too happy, and awful lonely. And I don't know, a few days after Christmas, guess who walks in? Sandy. And she's got a gift certificate. Yeah, she's got a gift certificate. And she says, "Here, my friend Beth, is this good here?" I said, "Yeah, sure, heck yeah. Come on in." And Sandy moseyed around the store a bit and she wasn't finding much of anything she liked. And then all of a sudden, she saw my record pile. And she says, "Whoa, records! Look at them all. Oh, yeah." And she starts digging through them. And, well, long story short, she bought a whole mess of records. I said, "Cool." Number one, I had a sale, and she bought, I think, a little bit more than what the gift certificate was good for. So yeah, I did okay. And she started, oddly, we got to talking. God, we must have talked for an hour. And I said, "I see you all around town." I said, "You're always, riding your bike." She says, "Well, I like riding my bike. Keeps me in shape." I said, "Well, yeah, look at you. Gosh." Or I thought that anyway. And anyway, one thing led to another. She kept coming into the store. Yeah. And and prior to that, this will, for those of you into the paranormal, let's say a few months before I met Sandy, or the gift certificate was bought, a girl who was kind of mystic in her thinking came in, and she had a boyfriend, and I was trying to get her to go out with me too. But she said, "Here," she says, "Doc, this'll do you. Look at this." And she had a print of a girl, of flowers, and on the flowers was a little fairy. Yeah, a little fairy with wings, not wearing. In fact, no, she was buck naked. Now that I think about it, and she's sitting on sniffing at a flower or something with her rear end facing my direction, and I remember thinking, and I said, "Well, so what's with this?" She says, "This is going to be your wife." I said, "No." She says, "Yeah, it's going to be your wife. What you got to do is," she says, "I want you to put this on your wall, and I want you to just say a prayer or something, some affirmation that this will someday, this particular fairy will come into your life." I said, "Really?" She says, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, okay." She says, "And you wait and see." Wow. Lo and behold, after about 2 or 3 months of this, Sandy came in, and I didn't think much of it, but I'm looking at Sandy thinking, boy, she's pretty. Where have I seen her before? Where have I seen her? And oddly enough, one day she left, and I turned around and I looked, and I said, "Oh my God!" I said, "I don't know what she looks like, in her birthday suit, but doggone that fairy, at least face and size and all. That's Sandy. Oh my God, oh my God." Well, in any case, it didn't take too long for Sandy would come in on a pretty much a regular basis, or she'd call and chat a little bit. And I kept trying to ask her out, and she wouldn't go out. No, didn't. I said, "God, do you want to go to a movie?" No. Even to this day, do you want to go to a movie? No. You want to go out to eat? No. Do you want to go for a ride? No. It's funny, but that's yeah. Now and then a ride is okay. But a lot of times, it's she's happy if I go get some take Chinese takeout or whatever and bring it home, pizza or something. She'll eat a bite or two, and I'll eat the rest. The but in any case, one day Sandy is she's in the store, and I'm thinking, my God, and this it's now the point where she calls a lot, but she won't go out with me. And I said, oh, I said, Sandy, and I knew that she didn't necessarily have anyone she was dating or anything. She'd just go out on her own, one place or another. I said, I'd love to take you out this Friday night if you'd go. But I said, even if you could go, I couldn't invite you because I've got to go do a clean out. And she says, what do you mean? I said, well, clean out. I get this stuff in the store by cleaning out people's homes. They're moving or someone's died in the family. They want the stuff removed. I go get it. I charge them and deduct for any good stuff. A lot of times I'll get paid a little bit of money and I take all the baloney out of their house. It's a win-win situation for them and me too. She says, so where are you going? I said, well, Friday I've got this house. I got to get it cleaned out. The people are moving. And, or no, there was a death in the family and the house is being sold. The estate has to be cleared. That's what it was. And I said, I got to pull everything, with the exception if I find something really valuable, I've got to run it by those folks because they might be a family heirloom or something. She says, well, gee, that's pretty cool. Hey, could I go on that? That was the date, our first date. Showed up for our first date with knee-high rubber boots, big long gloves, and a bandana to keep her hair from getting all dirty and stuff. And we were we were in that house for hours. She was, in fact, on the way down, she said something about, hey, if it's okay with you, could I make a pile of stuff for myself? I mean, as long as you don't want it for your store. So I could use some things around the house. I said, by all means. Yeah, no problem. It saves me from getting a dumpster. And that was our first date. And it went uphill from there. I finally realized a good way to get her to go out was, you want to go to an auction? Oh, yeah. And that's how it worked. In any case, I just thought I'd say, but I remember that picture. I somehow lost track of that wonderful picture. Oddly enough, I found the letter that I wrote to Sandy back when I was in North Carolina and never mailed. And I gave it to her to read. Honestly, I don't know what I wrote. It was a pretty sappy letter, if I recall right. But she said, boy, you were really turning it on, weren't you? I said, yeah. And she's, God. So anyway, so that's how it all worked out. I'd say about 2 years after that house call, this day back in 1995, we up and got married down at Tucker's Breakfast King. Yep, interesting. Anyway, I thought I'd say. So there you go. I'm looking forward to another 24 years, although that would make me awfully old. Oh, God, I can hear the nurses now saying, Mr. South, it's your anniversary. Your anniversary. Huh? Yeah. I don't know. The 24 years, oh my God, I'd be, well, I wouldn't be quite 100, but I'd be close. Yeah, well, we'll see. If that's how it is, fine. So, okay, well, I'll see you later, friends. Thank you, and God bless. If you see Sandy, well, she and the dog are out walking right now. So if you see her, say hi and a happy anniversary to her. We'll see you now. God bless. Bye now.